Hello friends, welcome back to our last day of Under the Sea for paper circuits. It's been so much fun making a little light up aquarium box where we can enjoy our sea. We've got some of our anglerfish and jellyfish in here. I haven't turned the lights on yet, but we could do that with some magnets, and we have our little guy we made yesterday, who's maybe you, investigating this deep sea. And today we're going to look at a new way to investigate the deep sea in a submersible. And we are going to be making one that lights up just like this. You can choose today if you want your submersible to have like a cabin light, like this is like a cabin light, it sort of lights up the cabin in your face, or maybe you want an outside searchlight and you want it to sort of go out into the world so you can see those anglerfish and spotlight them, and that will be up to you. And hopefully then you'll add it in to your fun little diorama that we have going on. It's like, this has been so much fun, and I'm so excited to do submarines. I've never had the chance to be on a submarine. I can only dream about it. I think it might be really scary, but I think it'd also be really, really cool. So I'm going to talk about what we need for today's project, and then we'll do our shout outs. But before that, I want to tell you guys the exciting stuff we have in plan for the next couple weeks. So I know that Naomi really wanted to do Sasquatch, so I decided we will do mythical creatures of the United States next week, and it's all going to be a fun way to make little books. It's going to be simple circuits, but it'll be super creative. You can add lots of things, and you'll make these little sort of folder book covers. But then you can write your own myths of the creatures and imagine what they're doing, which I'm really excited about. And then yesterday, Rohan mentioned he wanted to do Pokemon, and Frankie and Iris and Kaya and Naomi all helped us decide which ones we're going to do. I already made the paper circuits for them because I was so excited. So we're going to do Pokemon the week after next, which will be really fun. That'll take us well into August, and then we'll start planning some other things that we're going to do, especially as school starts, so that we can support you guys. And if you want to support us, you can always go check out patreon.com/RosieResearch, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And you want your special idea to be part of our paper circuit summer.
Tell us. We are super open to ideas. I mean, this week was all Zoe saying she wanted to do underwater. Next week is Naomi saying, I really want to do Sasquatch. The week after is Rohan saying Pokemon. So if you have an opinion and you know what you want to do, you have something you really, really love, let me know, and we'll see if we can make that happen for you guys. I know the ideas will probably come flooding in, which is amazing because I love that. Yeah, definitely let us know. And if you're a parent who doesn't want your child on YouTube, you can send them to our Zoom room, and all the information for that is over at our patreon.com/RosieResearch. And support starts at just $1 a week. So it's super easy. You can come one day, you can come 5 days, you can come to hang out, you can come to do the projects, whatever works for you guys. And support is super low so that we can get as many kids doing fun science, because that is my mission, fun science. I think we're succeeding at it this time. All right, so today we are making our submersible deep sea circuit. So what you will need is, the first thing you'll need is our template. So this should have come in an email to you guys either today and also at the beginning of the week on Sundays when I send out all the templates. I like to print them on sort of card stocky paper to give my projects a little bit more heft to them so they're harder to break, but you could print them on any type of paper. I know Naomi was talking about maybe vellum see-through paper for some of the Pokemons, which I think would be really cool. But you need to print this guy out. You could freehand draw your submarine and try to follow the circuit with us if you don't want to do that. It's just a little bit trickier. So you're gonna want your circuit. You need a pair of scissors to cut your circuit out. We are powering all of our circuits with 2032 batteries. So you're gonna want one of these. They are 3 volts. So if you can't find a 2032, you can find another coin cell battery. They look like this, like little coins, that are 3 volts. I would steer clear of the ones that are really small that sometimes people use in hearing aids, and they are 3 volts, but they will die very quickly lighting up an LED. So the bigger, sort of, the longer it will last, but 2032s are my favorites, and they will last for days in an always on mode, so they will last you for a while. You're gonna need an LED, whatever color you want. I have this little kit that has a range of colors, and then I also added in, with the clear whites, some clear rainbows, so sometimes it's a little tricky to find it. And rainbow flashing is one of my favorite because you can have a rainbow disco party, which I love. We are gonna have to poke some holes today, so I have our just sort of metal skewer poker here. You might have a thumbtack, and we'll show you a way to use that to really get it started well for you. And then I just use a sharpened piece of wood. A pencil would work great for that to expand that hole to what I need. And the other things we need are some copper tape. So this is conductive tape. As we make our circuits, we have to lay down highways for those electrons to go on and experience the circuit, which gives us light or sound or heat or all of those things. And we do that with highways. And this is what we are making our highways out of, is a conductive tape. This is a copper tape. There's also an aluminum tape, and it would be shiny, not like duct tape. It would be shiny. Or if you don't have that kind of tape, you can use aluminum foil. And then we need a non-conductive tape, a way to stick things together but not create little roads for the electrons, because maybe we don't want them to go to those certain places. So a masking tape, a duct tape, a washi tape, a scotch tape, an electrical tape, a plasticky or papery tape will work great for that. And that is all we need. So we're going to get started. Oh wait, no, let's do our shout outs. I almost forgot. Who's here?
All right, first up, she came to hang out in Zoom a little while ago, and it's Frankie!
Yay! Hello, Frankie! Oh, I'm so excited you're here again today. We had so much fun in Zoom yesterday, didn't we? I can't wait. You guys are going to be very excited about the Pokemon.
And someone else who just showed up in Zoom, it's Miss Naomi!
Hello, Naomi! Good morning! I'm so glad you're with us today.
We've also got Johnny Good showing up today.
Yay! Hello, Johnny Good. It's good to see you.
And Kaya's in the house.
Yay! Good morning, Kaya. I hope your cereal tastes delicious.
Those are our early morning wake up people. But
Fabulous.
I know we have some other people who show up late.
Oh,
wait, we also have Mimi.
Oh, hi, Mimi. Oh, I'm so glad you're with us again today. Yay! That's so exciting. And yes, I will say hello to Rohan, who comes later, as well as Venetia. Kaya sometimes comes later, but she's here today, which is awesome. And Zoe and Brody and Chase. And I'm going to throw a hello out to Hassan, because we haven't seen him, but I feel like he's out there in the universe. So I'm going to say hello to Hassan.
We can't forget Raiden.
And Raiden and Riker, of course.
Yeah, we guys got to...
I miss Raiden.
Our commentary.
He came a few days, and it was so exciting.
He's our commentary guy.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get started. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to cut out along these sort of thick black lines. Those are always our cut lines. And then we have two dotted lines that we are going to pre-fold our circuit on. So that's the first thing that we're going to want to do. And we're also going to cut out this black window piece as our window into our submarine. If you wanted a submarine that didn't have a window, you didn't want to add that in, you just want it to sort of be the same on both sides, that's totally cool. Just don't cut that part out. So I'm going to start cutting on this. And as we cut around, I have some cool information about some submarines.
I feel like the cutting time is our information time.
It is. That's sort of like our, let's learn something cool and new.
Kaya did just mention that. Are we interested in doing a weather week?
Yes, Kaya has really wanted to do a weather week. And I have really wanted to do a cloud in a jar with her. She keeps mentioning it. But I'm wondering, Kaya, do you want to do like weather paper circuits, or do you want to do like weather phenomena? Because weather phenomena might be better come September when we go back to our normal sciencing programming. Yeah, so, but I will put that on there, Kaya. You can type into Evan and be like, I really wanted weather paper circuits. And we can make like cutie things like rain, thunder, rain clouds and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, we could totally do that. But we couldn't do the cloud in the jar quite yet because we're doing all paper circuits right now. But I know Weather Week is a big one for Kaya. And we are gonna find, I gotta find some ways to do something really cool at home that's not boring. Because we do really fun science here. Not boring science. So we gotta figure that one out. Yeah. So anyhow, in our submersibles, this is something that's really cool I found out. So the deepest place on Earth is in the ocean, and it's in the Marianas Trench. So the Marianas Trench is this really deep trench that goes along the ocean floor. And there's a spot in it that gets even deeper called the Challenger Deep. And this spot is so deep that it's 7 miles under the water. Now that might be hard to imagine because 7 miles is the same as, 28 football lengths around the track down. And you might be like, oh, that's not too bad.
No.
Yeah, because it's 4 laps around a track.
1 mile.
Yeah, and so 7 miles would be 28 laps. Isn't 7 times 4 is 28?
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
Math.
Got me a little worried there. So it'd be 28 of those quarter-mile track lengths down, which might be sort of hard to imagine. But one thing we can compare it to is the tallest mountain on Earth. So the tallest mountain on Earth is Mount Everest. And if we took Mount Everest out of Nepal, just like picked it up and plopped it down, it would still be submerged at Challenger Deep. So the tallest mountain in the world that we have on land is not tall enough to get out of the ocean in Challenger Deep. There'd actually still be a mile of water up. And we have used some very cool deep sea submersibles to look at Challenger Deep, but only 3 people have ever gotten to go down there. All right, I'm gonna now fold it on these 2 little lines, and it's gonna fold basically into a little clamshell. I've been making all these so that they sort of fold right symmetrical to each other, so you can't quite see the front and the back, and it hides the circuit, and it's very much like a little clamshell. It's a great way to make 2D circuits for us. And then if you're going to make your a window, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start by poking a small hole. So start by poking like a metallic object, a push pin, safety pin, maybe you have a skewer like this. You're going to just push it through and start a hole. And then you're going to make that hole bigger. So I'm just going to spin this through. Now I have a bigger hole, and then I can get my scissors into that hole. And I can't really cut the way I want, so I actually cut like a little spiral as I do this to get this out. And as I cut the spiral, I get more and more space to sort of maneuver my scissors and get the cut that I'm hoping for. And it doesn't have to be perfect because this is going to be behind it. Like this part you won't see. This will be the back side. So if it's not perfect, no big deal. I say that about everything in life. It's hard to reach perfection in life.
Oh, looks like Iris just showed up.
Oh, hello, Iris.
Or maybe she's been here. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're hanging out with us today.
I don't have a timestamp in it.
All right. So I have my window that's right there. And the other thing that we will want to prep is if you want an indoor light or an outdoor light. So if you want a cabin light, you don't need to do anything. You're just gonna put your LED right here, and you can sort of bend it down so that it sort of bends into this clamshell. If you want an outdoor spotlight, which I think is what I'm gonna do today, instead of leaving that pink circle the way it is, you're gonna poke a hole in this pink circle. All right, and then you're gonna make that hole big enough for your LED.
Can you show them real quick what the indoor light looks like with other ones?
Yes, so here is the indoor light. I gotta find my spot. The indoor light is really cool. It sort of highlights your face. And then the outdoor light would be a light that pokes through right here that would be like a spotlight to see the animals outside. So it's sort of up to you what you would like to see. Yeah, it's a great question. And probably because I've done one indoor light, I want to also check out the outdoor light too. Sometimes with these holes, it like pops the paper out. I like to smush it so it's flat and then pop the paper inside so it's smoother on the outside. That's just like a personal preference I have though. All right, so now we are all cut out. So we cut out along that thick black line. We folded on these 2 dotted lines to make it a clamshell, and we folded in towards the circuit. Then we cut out our little window here, and if you want an outdoor light, we've got to poke that little hole. All right, and now it is time to wire it up.
Wait, do you think we should ask a couple questions?
We should.
Maybe, who would want to go on a submersible?
Yes, you should tell us what you would want to see. And there's amazing things to see. And maybe I could talk about some cool things while Evan goes and grabs me Curious George, because I forgot Curious George today.
They do have tourist submersibles now that you can buy.
You can buy?
You can buy submersibles.
Buy a submersible? That would be so fun. Okay, we're not going to buy a submersible because that seems probably out of our price range. That's probably more than a brand new car. But what if you could win a submersible? Like, come on down, you've won a nice yellow submarine. That would be super duper exciting. Oh my gosh. And there's amazing things that we never would have thought we would find life at certain places. Like at the bottom of the ocean floor, there are these hydrothermal vents, and it's like boiling hot water. And you would imagine not much can live in boiling hot water, which is why when you're worried about your water being safe to drink, one of the first things you do is you boil it, because it kills everything in the water, right? So then you're totally good. But there's like shrimp that live on these hydrothermal vents. And there's like, it's like a huge, like you'll have like a barren seafloor and you'll get to a hydrothermal vent and it'll just be like life everywhere, like a little underwater metropolis, which is so cool. All right, we're gonna wire this up. I'm gonna grab my copper tape to get started in that. And the first one that we are going to wire up is our yellow line that's right here. All right, and for our friends who might be joining us online for the first time, when you have your copper tape and you're trying to peel it, the first thing you gotta get it started. So I like to just like smush my fingernail and try to separate the two. It can be tricky, kind of like trying to get a sticker off when you don't have the lip. And then you can get it started. So this is what I call getting started, when I have just a little bit of the copper tape peeled from the backing. And this copper tape, the other side is sticky. And you might be tempted to take that off so that you can use the copper tape. And you will notice that right away it gets really curly and crazy and it's really hard to use. So don't do that. Instead, after you start your copper tape, I add a little bit of scotch tape around the edges so my copper tape doesn't go everywhere. And apparently they just got long enough where they keep coming down. So you will take your copper tape and you will get it started. And then you're going to start sticking it to the paper. So instead of peeling it all the way off, we're going to stick it to the paper and peel and continue to stick as we go. So I'm going to start up here and I want to go down. So I want my copper tape to be headed down just the way I want to go. And so I'll stick it to this spot that I want. And then I'll start peeling this white backing off. And as I peel it, I just sort of gently press down on that copper tape line. And I want to follow these lines. They don't have to be perfect. But sometimes I have things that don't want to touch, or maybe they're close to each other, so you want to pay attention to those things on the templates. And now I'm getting to this turn, so my copper tape wants to go down, but I want to go to the side, and that can feel really tricky, because we don't want to cut it and then lay a different road down, because now we have two roads at two different heights, and the electrons in their cars, they're not flying cars, so they need their roadways to be all one thing. So what we can do instead is I give myself some extra. So I've got a couple inches of copper tape there. And if I want to go this way, I actually pull the copper tape the other direction. So I'm making a loop that goes the wrong way. And then I can just press this down onto it. And I can ignore this wave. That wave is not important. I just want to press it down. And then I'm going to keep pressing this down. And in this gray circle, I need to make sure I get into the gray circle and not just into it. I want to go well into it. I don't really want to go out of it, but I really want to be inside of it. And that's because this matches up to where the battery will be, and that's what completes our circuit. And then you can just sort of press that little wave down, just like that. It's a great way to make turns. And then we're going to do the orange piece that's right here. So again, I'm going to stick it down as I go. And sometimes you got to press pretty good. And when I get to a turn, I want to go that way. My copper tape wants to go this way, so I give myself some extra. I sort of pull it up, and I press it down later. And again, I want to press it down and make sure I get into that green circle and well within. I don't want to just cross the boundary and be like, right there. I want to be well within it, but I don't want to go out of it. Okay, those are some important things to really make our paper circuits work. And to cut the copper tape, you can just put your fingernail down and rip it. I'm really close to getting out of that circle, but you'll notice I'm not quite out of it. I'll have to be careful about where and how I place my battery, which is the next thing that we're going to do. So when we put our battery on, we always put it on with a non-conductive tape. So your paper or your plasticky tape is going to be how we put our battery on. And I like to get thinner pieces. I feel like the thick is a little tricky to work with. You're going to take your battery so that you can see those letters. It's going to go right on top of that green circle. Now, you might be tempted to just tape your battery in over the top like this, and call it a day. And we actually need to be able to touch the surface of that metal battery with this metal piece of copper tape to create the highway in that loop. So we don't want to go straight over the top. I always suggest going right along the bottom, and what I do is I do just a little bit. It's just barely on my battery, and then you can sort of press it and smush the tape around it, and it makes a lovely little battery pocket. Just like that. And then my battery's in. If I wanted to, I could add a little bit more security, and I would go on the top so that middle spot always stays free. And then I could do this. I could add a little bit more like that. All right, when you're doing this, make sure that you still have copper tape on this short leg, okay? Because we're gonna have to attach our LED to that. I'm actually gonna make this thinner, and I'm gonna come over on this side so that I don't accidentally cover up that spot that I'm gonna need to attach my metal LED legs for my circuit. Something that we kind of forgot yesterday. And that was a mistake I made as well. All right, so I have my battery. It's nice and snug in there. And I have a lot of my battery top that's open. This is really, really important. If you're using clear tape, you might not notice it. So make sure if you're using clear tape, you're on just the edges, right? Just these little edges, but all of this right here is open. All right, so you wanna make sure that's really, really important. All right, now comes the next big thing, which is choosing your LED. And I kind of really want a rainbow disco party going on, and I realized I did not actually test my LEDs. So I'm gonna take my battery out so I can show you guys how to do it. All right, so here's our battery. And you always wanna make sure your battery and your LEDs work. To do that, we need to make a circle around the battery. So one leg on top and one leg on bottom. And if you do that, you might actually put it one leg on top, one leg on bottom, and it might not light up. That's because LEDs are like slides. As the electrons go through the slide, they have so much fun. They light up and they have a great time. But the slides, the electrons are good rule followers. So on the slides, they won't go up a slide. They will always go down. So that means the long leg always has to go on the top of the battery because otherwise the slide is not in the right direction. And now I know the LED I want because I wanted a rainbow party. And I know my battery works and I know my LED works. That's really important. And I'm going to add my battery back into this little pocket I made for it, now that it's all tested. Although some of this paper tape is not very sticky right now. All right. Because I'm doing it on the outside, I'm going to put my LED in from this side of the paper. But if you're doing a cabin light, you would take your long leg goes straight down, and your short leg like this. And then I actually ended up bending my LED sort of like this, so it sort of shined into that cabin. All right, and you would tape those legs on right like that with our non-conductive masking tape. And the only difference is gonna be that your LED would be on the inside. I want mine on the outside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick the legs through that hole. So it's on the outside. I'm gonna make sure I know where my long leg is, which is on the bottom. That's gonna go straight down. And the other one is gonna go straight to the side. Just like that. And I'm going to use my masking tape or my non-conductive tape to go and tape those pieces in. All right, I want to make sure that the legs are on top of the copper tape inside of there. All right, make sure your legs are not on top of paper because that is not a highway that electrons can go on. Paper is non-conductive at this voltage, so the electrons can't go through it, and that would be bad. So I have both of them on there now. They're taped on, and now it's time to test our circuit. So to test our circuit, we want to make this into a circle, and that means I come out from the bottom, in through my LED, down through here, and this needs to go to the top of the battery. And the way that I can do that is I just fold it in half, just like this, and then it will light up for us. Ooh, but mine doesn't, which is perfect. That gives me a chance to, oh, it does, to look at why. I'm gonna bend my LED so it goes straight out. And I think it's because my legs aren't making very good contact. There we go. I just pressed on my legs and that fixed it for me. If you find you have that problem a lot and you're always having to fix that and it's sort of frustrating to you, I can show you a trick to fix that with your copper tape. All right, so if you find that, oh man, it's the legs, it's so frustrating. Always have to press on those legs. What you can do is take just a little piece of copper tape, just a little guy, gently peel up the tape on one of the legs, sandwich this in so that you see the paper, just like that, and then you're gonna put your tape over that. All right, just like that, and then I'm gonna tape back down over it.
Kind of like a copper tape sandwich.
It's like a copper tape sandwich. The copper tape's the bread all facing in, and the goodies is the LED leg. So you could do that with both of them. So again, you'd peel up a little bit of that. So right now I have copper tape, LED leg. I'm going to take my copper tape and put it straight to the LED leg on the other side, and then put my tape back down. Now sometimes this might make your tape not sticky enough because you just taped it to a bunch of paper, but what you could do is just add another piece of tape.
And you can also do that with aluminum foil, right?
Yes, so if you have aluminum foil, you could put little bits of aluminum foil instead of those little bits of copper tape that are upside down. All right, so that will do it. And then of course you do want to sort of press and make sure your tape is good. And you can check, you can fold it, and then when you press over here, your LED light should go on. Now all that's left to do is to make sure that you decorate this. And you'll notice there is a light gray line right here, so that's where our window is. So if you cut a window, you could draw in this light gray area what you want to be inside that window. Maybe that's computers, maybe that's you, maybe that's a friend, maybe you want a shark to drive your submarine, because that would be pretty incredible. You could draw all of that. Just make sure when you draw it, you hold the part you're drawing on the top, and then you draw it right side up, okay? And then this part will flip up, and you won't end up having a shark upside down driving your submersible, because that is a little bit too unbelievable.
That could be silly.
I don't know, it's a little too unbelievable. A shark I could go with. An upside down shark? I don't know. It's really up to you guys though. And that is what we have made today. I'm super excited that you guys did that, and you have to add it into your diorama somewhere so that you can see and you can go inspect things. We have some additional things. Georgia decided to take one of her jellyfish and make a rainbow coral reef, which we haven't quite added in yet. But there's lots of things you can use to add and sort of change these circuits a little bit, and then you can go through it. And Naomi used some really strong magnets on here and then on the back, and she could actually move them on the back, and it moved her project, which was incredible.
That's really cool.
It was really cool. So I'm really excited to see everybody's finished projects today. We're going to go over into Zoom in just a moment. So if you're having trouble with your project and you need some help, absolutely, we will be over there in Zoom. You can get the link at patreon.com/RosieResearch. And again, your support helps us keep it going, which is great because we are going to go in through September and October as we start distance learning. I know our school district is distance learning. I know LA is distance learning. I know a whole lot of places are distance learning right now. So we are going to be here to support you through that process. And if you want to come and join us for science for one day a week because that's what fits and that's how you want to do it, awesome. If you want to send your kids to me every single day for an hour of science and give you an hour of emails, that's equally awesome. There's no right or wrong, but we will just be here to support you in however way you need it. And you can get all of that stuff at patreon.com/RosieResearch. All right, we will see you next week for our mythical creatures of the United States. Have a great one, my friends.